Off the east coast of Canada lies one of the Earth's great islands, the Newfoundland. A storied place steeped in the courage of a people who fished waters so thick with cod, a man could walk the seas. Or so they said. Since the time of Columbus and Cabot, nations have fought to control Newfoundland's fish stocks. For Europe's poor and starving, cod was more than trade or commerce. It was life. Before Montreal, before New York, there was the great fishing port of St. John's. As the demand for cod grew, outport villages took root along the edge of the fishing grounds. As many as 1,300 of these communities once lined the coast of Newfoundland, where life remained unchanged for half a millennium. They were places like Hay Cove in Placentia Bay. Hay Cove was settled by the Burton family in 1830. Boats were lost, tears were shed. Each generation struggled as hard as the one before, but the family persevered. The Burtons stayed until the 1940s. Then, one by one, they left for city work, until all that remained were the soft, shadowed hills. Three generations later, the community is being rebuilt. The year is 1937. The Hindenburg has crashed, and Snow White is in the theaters. At Hay Cove, it is also a busy time. The bake apples are plentiful, and the fishing is good. King cod, they called it, with meat so sweet it built an industry. And although most Hay Cove fishermen could not swim, they'd go to sea before dawn and fish until their hands bled. And then the real work began. Heading and gutting, cleaning and salting. Everyone helped, because everyone had to. The cod still come to Placentia Bay, but there's not much fishing done these days. The boats have been burned, the nets put away. And like the Burtons, the fishermen have moved to town. Late June, the construction is finished. 10 people are traveling to Hay Cove to spend the next few months living as outport fishing families.
That looks pretty good on you there.
I don't know how they wore it in the old days.
How does this look?
Oh, to me? Pretty good.
2 homes will be established. The Murray House and the Wheeler House. The Wheelers are from St. John's, where Ralph is a university professor, swim coach, and gourmet cook. His son Elliot is 11. His daughter Anna is 14.
I just hope we can do justice to the people that lived here, you know, and do it in a respectful manner, for sure. And I just hope we have the skills and the talent that they had to do it.
Ralph's neighbors are the Murrays, Monty, Annie, and their 3 children.
Just to come back here and spend 10 weeks here, I mean, you couldn't buy this, right? You couldn't manufacture this for yourself. I could never afford to give this to my kids to spend a summer doing this.
Monty is a hard man from a small town. He left Newfoundland to find work. He found Annie.
I know that the women had many chores, and it had to be hard because, like, I have 3 kids here, and they're quite grown. Like my youngest is 4 years old, and I can just imagine those women having 10, 12 kids. They're always pregnant and the baby in their arms and washing diapers. It had to be really hard.
Ooh, oh my God. Nice. Nice.
At the Wheelers, the women's work will be shared between Anna and Mary Ann Graham, who everyone calls Nan.
Oh, hard. Lovely.
Mary Ann is a 75-year-old grandmother who once ran a girls' school residence.
A real Newfoundland sweater.
She'll have her hands full with Elliot, and especially Anna.
Isn't that gorgeous? I think sometimes I'm more assertive than is necessary, but I've always been that way. I realize that, but sometimes it gets in the way, I would say, and I'm sure that must rub people the wrong way. Not that it's been said to me, but I would feel sure that that would come up, you know?
This is the diary of Anna Wheeler. All I have to say at first is, could they pick a more beautiful spot? This place is gorgeous. Like, you wouldn't believe how gorgeous it is. Apart from my clothes, which is not. Look at this. If my friends could see me now. Look, look. Pretty gross.
Elliot Wheeler's video diary, first entry. First of all, I'm going to talk about the house. The house has 3 bedrooms. I share a room with my dad. The floor is wooden, and the kitchen has a potbelly stove. I like about the house, well, nothing really. It's pretty bad.
Now that's a coffee cup. I'm gonna need a cup of coffee like that at 4 in the morning, I tell you. Huh?
My mother thought I looked good in black, so she wanted me to go into the ministry. But it was always something other than fishing. I don't think there was ever one of the viable options or even a consideration to go into the fishery at that time.
The families have been given the essentials of outport life. A few animals, a root cellar, some tools, and a potato garden full of rocks.
There are already potatoes under?
There must be, yes.
Yeah, they've been planted.
Planted the old-fashioned way. Look, just put the potatoes on the ground and cover them over.
This is all the women's end of things. There's my end down here, the business end.
Oh, not only. If the women have to go down and work on the flake, so do the men have to cut the wood and help with the cow in the garden, you see? It works both ways.
We'll negotiate.
Well, there you go.
We'll negotiate.
There you go.
At the Murray house, the family has a boarder. He's Harold St. Croix, their shareman, a kind of hired hand. Harold comes from 10 generations of fishermen, but he lives in Toronto, where he's a caretaker who dreams of becoming an actor.
Why did you not want to stay and fish?
Because the way it was, I mean, it was a hard way of living, and it was severe weather, right? And the sea can be very deadly, and apparently it's not, you know, I see so many people struggle over the years that I just didn't want to